Hello everyone and welcome back to our Let's Play of the Ottoman Empire, which should be our final episode. We're in 1909, so we're either going to get to 1936 or get as close as we can. Where we last left off, we were about to help the British, because we have an alliance in a war against the Germans, to liberate the Belgians from the Zollverein power block. Just to, you know, put a little cap on Germany's economy by robbing it of the Belgians. Except I kind of noticed something when I booted up the game and took a few minutes to look around and get my bearings. Germany's army is very scary. They have over 500,000 men deployed, and more concerningly, they have trench infantry. We have skirmishers. We didn't really focus on buffing up the army because we didn't need to. We had what we needed to bring down the Russians. I had not been thinking about the Germans, and another concerning thing I noticed is Britain is on the verge of a reactionary revolution because of all that territory they annexed in China. The reactionary movement scales its activism very, very heavily off of the turmoil in the country. So this is why suddenly conquering a bunch of China as a country like Britain very early on might not work, because you're suddenly going to have a lot of your people are radicals generating turmoil. So I am trying to decide here whether we're going to help in this war anyway. What we are going to do, we're going to leave the compression ignition engine. As much as I really want it to boost our economy with oil, we are going to postpone it for trench works to get trench infantry. And hopefully by then we'll have military statistics as well for advanced tactics training and, more importantly, the luxurious supplies. I am going to hesitantly stay in this war, but we're going to be putting our army purely on the defensive. If it gets too expensive, we'll pull out. But we are going to be strictly focusing our armed forces on just defending Belgium. I believe that's our three main forces, right? Yes, we do need a small contingent force for Harar still, because we were trying to unify Ethiopia under our subject. And in order to do that, we kind of need to actually have a force down there. Let's just combine this army here. That way they're not too spread out. There we go. That'll help. We'll actually combine this force as well. That way we don't have these like really tiny forces running around that don't have the potential power to do anything. Right, and because the British could use our forces aggressively, we're going to make sure everyone is set to only Ottoman armies. Just to make sure the British don't take our units and run away with them and slam them into the German lines and get us killed. We are also continuing to allow the British and Americans to invest into us. We have the same rights to invest into them, but I believe most of our private investment pool has been investing into the country still. Yes, because our government is more interested in privatization, I'm noticing. Not our government, I'm sorry, our private investment pool. The government's just interested in building whatever I assigned last. Oh, that's big. That's big. Negative on the ballot, on the budget. Are we being targeted by anything in this war? We are not, so we can always just pull out if we need to. Shewa, we are going to enforce military access. And I just noticed there's a division down here to combine later. We will go ahead and unify Ethiopia shortly afterwards. France is fighting Spain to make Portugal a protectorate, and Portugal wants to take pieces of France. What is this? We just started. Can we not go off the rails right off the bat? I mean, we really shouldn't join this war, but I'm just trying to see what we're being offered. No, I will just ignore it. We're already at war with Germany. That's a pretty big war on its own. In fact, we are actually leading one of the defenses right now with poor visibility against a blunder. And it looks like the loss ratio is definitely in our favor by a couple tens of thousands of people. Greater autonomy. No, I'm going to give you land. You don't need more autonomy. Just take this land. Forget about your autonomy. Of course, a big reason why our expenses just spiked is partially because of the war, partially because we just expanded our construction by about 20%, which means steel is expensive. It's a very fun construction loop. You can probably see why I do a good deal of videos on this game, because I just really, really like this game. I find it very enjoyable. It really just kind of gets my brain going. Wow, that is a lot of financial districts that are not us. We're just selling these? Yeah. We're selling everything, aren't we? Yeah. Whatever we build, we sell. Turns out a lot of foreign investors are buying up a lot of what we build. How many? I'm sorry, hang on. 0.43% are capitalists, 0.23 are aristocrats. Wow. I would expect our capitalists to be closer to 0.6 or 0.7, which tells you that there are a lot of buildings being bought up in the Ottoman Empire that are not ours. We're playing on vanilla, so I don't have any of the mods that let you see the percentage ownership just by checking your nation page. But if we go to GDP ownership, we can kind of see, yeah, you see these areas that are not in dark green. We don't own that much. You can see there are states in Persia, we own less than 40% of it. There's one where we own basically nothing. It may as well not be our state. I usually don't play with mutual investment rights that much, but this game is kind of making me think that I want to do an off-camera game, heavily testing out mutual investment rights and letting people invest into me, and just see how much faster the economy grows. The downside is that if they're making a lot of food industries, for example, then our food industry company probably isn't investing that much. We actually have 35 total in the country, and I know it's 17. Oil is another potential concern, because they could buy out a lot of those, and indeed they have actually bought some. But some of the stuff in our country that has been bought out by foreign investors has actually been bought out by their companies who would be bolstering it, which means, like in this case, 32 are owned by the home county's textile combine, and then 8% are owned by our unique textile company. So we're actually still getting a fair bit here. We're getting... Oh, it actually tells you, too. Ooh, wait a minute. Ooh, wait, so our company provides about 53% in total if it owns everything. But the British company can get up to 65 because their church is powerful and loyal, so it's getting work ethic because they're Protestant, so they get a bonus to that. That could be an idea, perhaps, to get some extra company bonuses. You could invest into a lot of resource companies, and then, depending on what the great powers have invested into, you could actually invite them to just buy out a bunch of your buildings. Just buy it out from your capitalists and then sell it to the British capitalists, because the British capitalists promised you that they could make it run better. That's a funny thought right there. What are we running on expenses on? I see engines are expensive. I think we were gonna solve that with the compression ignition engine in 5 years by using oil. And then, you know, the war started, so we couldn't. Yeah. Well, that's war for you. It's very disruptive. Or so I hear. So. Oh, right. I forgot. We own a treaty port in China that's no longer a treaty port. That has... It's a treaty port with 55 arable land and over 500,000 employable people. I'm starting to question... Well, it's not a treaty port anymore thanks to Britain. It was a treaty port and then Britain ruined it. Should we be investing here? I mean, these people are very unhappy and for good reason. I guess we could invest here at some point. I'll think about it. We'll think about it. They're a fourth of our peasantry, roughly, so there's not much to decide on there, I suppose. Just kind of have to go through this list really quick, because some of these are not what they should be. Very good, very good. We actually have synthetic plants, which is funny to me, because I'm pretty sure we have plenty of dye thanks to Persia. Although that is an option you can do. You don't have to invest into dye plantations. If you have a lot of sulfur and a lot of fertilizer, you can just invest into a bunch of synthetic plants. Thanks to recent updates, the more latest versions like 1.8, rayon is actually pretty good now. When you switch over to it, 10 wood to make 30 silk at the cost of 10 less dye is amazing. And laborers become machinists, which is great. It used to, I think the ratio before was 30 wood for 30 silk and you lost 30 dye. It was just unprofitable. Now it's actually profitable, which is fantastic. Ooh, Fars actually has a lot of unemployed people. It is very undeveloped. I know we've been making a lot of opium, and I think we've been selling a lot of opium. Too bad no one's getting an obsession with the opium. That'd be fantastic. For us, I guess. Not so great for the people who have the obsession. like, Qing, right? Or did they bug their way out of that? They bugged their way out of that, okay. Oh, Qing went bankrupt very recently. We'll put a cap on that. We'll come back to that in a bit. I want to see how much... Oh, wow. Yes, so the German tactic of just slam their heads into Belgium appears to have failed. There's already over 200,000 dead. For reference, we have lost 43,000 to death. About 103,000 wounded. Oh, dear. Oh, he's a... Don't worry, he's a flavor. It's I guess we really shouldn't say it's okay. I guess we'll just send him off to the asylum. So he can be, permanently treated? I don't know what they do in the asylums. I haven't checked, and I prefer not to check. We're gonna stay right here where it's safe, in Belgium. Well, safe if you stay away from the front lines, that is. We do have a request to go to war against Austria at some point, which I do plan to do, but I don't want to do it while we're in an all-encompassing war with Germany over Belgium, which sounds vaguely familiar. I also think we really might want to end the Sultanate, maybe, at some point. Just a thought. There's a lot of people who like the idea of a corporate state right now. I mean, we could stay with the Sultanate. We've done it this far. I really don't like the local governors, and they're kind of robbing me of precious tax income. And I'm just a little sour that they're taking my precious taxes. So I kind of just want to, you know, tell them to stop. We might annex that subject of ours, but again, all-encompassing war with the Russians. I'm sorry, Germans, but you know we could fight the Russians too. We could fight a two-front war. Why not? When has that ever gone wrong for anyone? I think we might switch to a corporate state. I'm kind of curious to what it looks like to have elections with a corporate state for the Ottomans. Also, in the long run, it would make it a lot easier to have a very legitimate government, which would be very nice. Nothing wrong with the current Sultan. I know we've been a Sultanate all the way to 1909, but I think it's time for a change. We could go theocracy, actually. We could go theocracy, but the problem with going theocracy is whoever's currently in charge just kind of takes over, and again, I want the local governors to cease to exist. So out of spite, because they are taking... Oh, the industrialists are taking my taxes now, too. Well, that's fine. We'll deal with them both at some point. The Socialist Federation? The Socialist Workers' Federation. My bad, I misread that. Why does the Islamic Party have so many votes? We're kind of just at the whims of the church here, I think. Conservative Party, that's the bourgeoisie. I mean, I guess. Just do whatever you'd like. So when does this war end? Are we already meeting all the needs for it? We are. Just by invading Zanzibar and holding the line, we are already effectively meeting all of our obligations to win this war. Oh. Well, I wish I didn't, Guys, I know I just told you to demobilize. I kinda need you to mobilize again. There's been a revolt. Oh, never mind. The war ended. Oh, we don't need... Oh. I dislike when that happens, when it looks like they're heading to a front, but they're actually just being sent home. Warfare does have its occasional bugs still. I am dearly hoping that will be fixed in the days to come. I have hope that it will be fixed in the days to come. But until those days come, we will not know if they are fixed. Where is... There it is. I keep forgetting that we own all of this in Afghanistan over here. I'm not used to it. I'm glad that we own it. Ooh, sorry, so I clicked off that really fast, but that was the multilateral alliances technology. Which, I really like it in this version of the game 1.8, because 25% infamy generation reduction. That is really, really nice. Just checking things here. We are good. We're still gonna get the trench infantry in 9 months, because we really should have it. I just realized our fleet's all the way in China. Let's at least bring it back to Egypt. We really should get the Suez Canal done, too. Speaking of alliances, Ukraine wants to be in an alliance now, and I see no reason to say no. Russia is colonizing Uralsk. Oh, they finally got that done. What are they doing right now? Frontier colonization, free trade. Still an autocracy, though. Britain is offering military assistance. Are you about to have your civil war still? No? You're actually... Well, I mean, the Han might uprise, but that's a different story. I guess we'll accept. There's no reason to say no to this, because it basically just makes running the military cheaper until they change their mind. Speaking of cheapness, we're gonna need to keep selling all that land to foreign investors against better judgment, because we're running a bit of a deficit here. We could tax opium, but I don't know if it's a good idea. I shouldn't hit this button, but I would like the rule of folk to remain in existence, so I'm gonna hit this button. We're just gonna see what happens. It's okay, it's just a few communists. Nothing bad will happen, I promise. What are they gonna do? Overthrow the government? Maybe. That might be what happens. I don't know. They might overthrow the government. We'd like to get rid of child labor, and we'd like to get women more rights so we could get more workers at once. Our pop growth's not bad. We have level 4 healthcare. We can't really squeeze more out of it. Oh, the trade unions would have joined. Oh, wow. I wonder how many votes they missed out on there. Can we do this? Yes, we can. I love how they don't have a lot of power. Yeah, we'll just keep going with that for now, then. And just kind of work our way to getting rid of the landowners. You know, instead of investing in our nation, we could invest overseas. I'm just being stubborn and refusing to do so. Like I do with many things, where I just stubbornly refuse to do it, I suppose. That might be a problem. I might need to check that out. Is it okay that most of our grain production here is owned by foreigners? Probably. It's probably fine. Yeah, maybe we really should make more grain farms. I'm noticing I'm having the habit of investing into cash crops, which is probably very realistic when you think about it. What would you rather invest in? Grain or that sweet tea plantation that'll make lots of money for the foreign investor that owns it? Look, it's okay, guys. It's okay. We own like 6 of the 40 opium plantations in this state. Don't worry, we own about 6. How many? I'm curious. Britain owns so much. Is this causing a bit of a increase in aristocrats in Britain? 0.38 aristocrats. 1.44% aristocrats. Oh my god, the home counties. That's a lot of aristocrats. How much of that is overseas owner? That's 408. I think a lot of that's just over here, right? Yeah, a lot of that's just kind of not us, although I am seeing a few of our states in the list here for opium plantations. So this might not be something we specifically caused, but we are kind of helping to feed the problem, I think. Kind of. We're kind of feeding the problem. There's 71 manor houses here. Mostly subsistence farms. Okay, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. I don't think the US has an aristocrat problem, though, does it? It doesn't have aristocrats. They don't exist. Well, as a interest group, they don't exist, to be specific. 112 levels owned to subsistence farms. Level 46 manor house. Yeah, that checks out. Yeah, no, that checks out. Okay, now that all those wars are done, we can go ahead and get an Ethiopian subject. Been trying to not invest too much down here since we were just gonna hand it off. Although they are our subject, we should probably invest into them anyway. There we go. Give it a few weeks and they should end up forming... Ooh, rubber plantations. Anyway, they should end up forming, whatever the state is. Ethiopia. I'm sorry. I know what the state is. I'm just blanking out every couple of seconds. Not because anything's wrong. I'm just not used to talking a lot while also checking on the dogs and doing a video at the same time. And, you know, I wasn't here for a bit, so we got rusty. We have plastic. Share it with Circassia. And there we are. Ethiopia now exists. It is Sunni religion. It is our subject. And we're going to invest into even... I'm sorry, this is not opium. This is coffee. We do need coffee, though. Speaking of which, As soon as they're loyal, I'm annexing the Ottoman Niger and then probably reforming it again. Just because it's Catholic French. Although we can solve the Catholic part. There we go. You're not Catholic now. No. It is still very Sunni, so that's not a problem. We have kind of spread it out a bit. A lot of this was Shiite over here in Persia. It is now Sunni. The Orthodox faith here should convert. Circassia is Sunni. Wallachia got off-state religion, so they're not converting. Last I checked, Ukraine was state religion. They are. And we did convert them to Sunni faith. So they are slowly converting over time. We'll see how that goes. We'll check back on the map. Oh, we can actually invite Oman. Yeah, why not? We could make them a subject, but I want to spend our infamy on other people. So in 5 years, we'll just convert them. So, we have good relations, don't we? Oh wait, do I not have an interest in North China? I do not. We're just gonna check on something really quick. 5%, I'll take it. Look, my idea here would probably shatter China, because they've gone into debt. I don't remember if the Heavenly Kingdom appeared, because sometimes it does in games, and sometimes it doesn't. But, come on. We can make them a protectorate and no one would intervene. I have to do this. I have to do this. No matter how disgusting it would be. The problem here is that they might, with enough mobilization, they might get back up. So we do need to add a few additional war goals. Our goal here is going to be to try to just make them bend the knee. Which also means we're not really going to invite anyone else into this war, because if we do and they get targeted with a war goal, they're gonna kind of fight this war to the death until we get all of the objectives. And we don't want all of the objectives, we just want the first one. Everything else is merely a means to an end. So we'll appoint most of the army to this front, and then what we're gonna do is actually, we just brought them all the way back. Oh wait, you're still using frigates? Okay, we're gonna dock them at Persia, upgrade them to torpedoes, and then what we're gonna do is have the 10th Army kind of base over here and get ready to invade. I really shouldn't do this, but I'm just gonna do it. We're just gonna invest in the journal. Women in the workplace, I can agree to that. As soon as we're done establishing a corporate state. So the hope here is that China will just give in. China probably won't, but we're gonna hope that they do. Actually, you know what? We can do the upgrade later. Just head straight there now. Have to interrupt them halfway through their cruise. Oh! Qing, back down! Okay, so, Qing is our protectorate. The Ottoman protectorate of China. Most of China. So we're gonna see if they actually shatter or not. I'm gonna withhold actually building in them until we kind of get an idea. I will upgrade the rail systems here, though. Do we have a lot of peasants? Not really. It's kind of been overinvested into at this point. We have unemployed, though, which is the next best thing. Unemployed people. So it is just going to take a few kind of ticks here. They have not tried to end the monarchy. I think we're okay. But I am going to kind of wait a little longer. We're going to wait till January. If we still have them by next January, I hate that I'm having to pause so much here, then I think we'll be fine. I might just start investing into them now, actually. Oh, right, they're banning opium. I can't build opium here. No! What have they done? They've ruined the opium. Why would the Hun do this? How could they ruin the opium? I think we're good. I think we have just gotten a Qing protectorate as the Ottoman Empire. Yes, it looks like we are good. Awesome. Fantastic. I can't wait for 5 years to go by. Why do we still have units mobilized? Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. I'm just gonna kind of... When the Civil War thing is over, I am just gonna give the treaty port back to China, so they're less discriminated against, and I don't have to deal with it. Which one gives us the research? This one does. I'm gonna say whichever technology gives us research is the one I'm going for. Okay. So we will go ahead and grant, can I not grant the treaty port? I can, there it is. There we go. That technically makes them hate me less, but I'm gonna have to improve relations, which I can't, oh, I can do it, that's awesome. Yeah. This also means, by extension, we have a Korean subject. Is there a case for breaking up our relationship with Britain to seize back China? Technically, there is a case to do it. But I think they're also investing into us so much that there's not much else we can do. Oh, wait, great. Ukraine's in our market. I'm sitting here talking about how we need to invest more into grain production. There is literally a state ready to just be invested into for lots of grain production right over here. I think it's still on. No, they're not. Ah, right, because Russia was not on traditionalism anymore. Speaking of Russia, we're kind of near 50 infamy still, so I really shouldn't do a war against them, but they're on the verge of losing their prestige. Dock you there. We are going to not only grow the Navy, actually, despite our growing list of expenditures, we are actually going to create a second Navy. And even though there's probably not a lot of people to recruit in these sea zones at the moment, I don't know why it keeps breaking like that, we are just going to go ahead and build them. This is partially to boost our prestige up, to increase the cost for people to be a great power and major power and so forth. I'm sorry, what is that French flag? Oh. France, it's a corporate state with autocracy. I'm sorry, so when the French are supposed to have their revolutions, were they supposed to revolt so hard that they forgo monarchy and republicanism for fascism? What is this world? Germany's a republic, France is a fascist state, Belgium just got its independence, so they formed their own power block. Okay, I don't get it. Can we just invade 2 Sicilies and make them a protectorate, baby? What is going on? Ooh, annex book. I mean, I wouldn't say no to a free reason to intervene, but I would like Ukraine to be on our side there. Yeah, I think we'll just ignore that. We're gonna kind of prepare for our own little war, but mostly because we're still running a deficit, and I'm thinking we're gonna have to enact a consumption tax at this rate. It's very nice to have Qing in our market. I see their standard of living jumped up almost immediately, and then started going back down because of the unemployed. Probably. I'm not sure. That's whatever. How is Britain doing? Well, they're no longer under reactionary threat. In fact, the reactionary movement has straight up disappeared from their list. And then, just because they're investing into us, the U.S. Wait, does the U.S. still have slavery? Ah. Ah, yes. Laissez-faire and free market. With the right to legacy slavery if you already owned them, and if not, I guess they just ignore it. National supremacy. Census up. This is a wacky U.S. and they still don't own Alaska. I hate how it's spelled. Why is Alaska spelled this way? Is this the I see. It's because the chartered company Russia starts with there was made into a colony, so it got Russification, I suppose. I hate it. I hate it so much. Hate is a strong word. I don't hate it. I somewhat dislike it. Let's put it that way. I somewhat dislike it. Military statistics. This is not the menu for that. That will be good, because now we can use wine to boost. Wait, isn't wine like a taboo? Well, all's fair in love and war. Which means I'm sure God will turn the other way. Probably. Don't mind the... Yeah, okay, I can't ignore the expenditures anymore. We're just gonna reenact our service tax even if it drops the GDP, the standard of living a little. Whoa, cut Britain down to some... Wait, Britain, what did you do? Britain, what did you do? You must have done something else. There's no way... What did you do? Your war to Sokoto wouldn't be enough on its own. I'm confused as to how they got that much. I'm gonna be honest with you. We're not fighting in that war. If Britain is gonna get cut down, it's either gonna happen or it's not. I'm not getting involved in that. In fact, I might end our alliance as a protest. He's a theocrat. We can have him step down. He's now a traditionalist. Oh, wait! The theocrat was the one supporting the corporate on... Oh, no. Wait. Hang on. Can I grant you leadership? You're not pressured. Okay, well. I may have just doomed us. I have severely doomed us. He was the guy pushing to end the monarchy. I guess we're stuck with the monarchy then, aren't we? Alright, well, case in point, this is why you always check your leaders before you banish them to God knows where. So I guess we're stuck with it after all. We're stuck with the Sultanate forever. This will be the Ottoman Empire for life. Oh wow, lots of people like this not ending it. Maybe this was a good choice. Maybe we just got really lucky. So, we're gonna get the secret police ready. That's not ominous at all. I know we have automation, but I think we need more automation. We're kind of at that point where we have almost no one to employ. We're already using the rotary valve engine. What about the mines? I don't think the mines have been up to date yet. Yeah. Yeah. Doggo see something. France is damaging relations. Well, I mean, they are kind of the bad guys here, right? That's what the rule is. Or so I'm told. Behind bars. The Shiite rights movement. Whatever makes the interest group happy. And our standard of living didn't really go down at all. It kind of did, by like 0.2. Our upper strata... I'm gonna be honest, our upper strata has had a not-so-great life. They're not even wealthy. Why is that? Shouldn't they all be wealthy, or are they just having a I mean, well, I guess we are taxing on 22% of their income because of dividends. Yeah, I kind of forgot about that. I did kind of forget we're taxing a lot. Man, it feels like it takes a lot longer to get to the game in the later half in the 1900s. I suppose that's technically true. It does take longer overall. But that's okay. We're actually making money now too, so we could just revoke a tax later. I think our biggest issue right now, though, is we just need to get the workforce ratio up. The trade union being loyal kind of helps with that, but we need to change the women's laws. We could also just hard invest in the Qing now, but I think half of that is just going to be bought out by the British and the Americans, so I'm not really sure who's actually getting those investments. Our infamy is kind of up there, though, which is my bigger concern. Mostly because China... Oh, China is technically loyal now. That's cool. Good on you, China. Good on you. Got 4 years, like 1915, 1916 or so, depending on when it happens. I don't think the British will lose their war, though. I don't see them losing it. They'd have to invade the British mainland, and I don't see that happening, you know? I don't think it'll happen anytime soon. But it could, you never know. They could end up getting invaded really hard. We might... I kind of don't want to have to do it. We might have to look into automatic power looms and the such. Why is electricity expensive here? Have we been using it? No, there's just no electricity, so the numbers are all out of whack. Okay. Revolution in Ethiopia, that won't do. You know, when you said revolution, I thought half the country was on fire, not a single state, but okay, yeah. Sure. It's a revolution. We need the National Guard. Oh, I stopped constructing again. Man, our private investment pool is just suffering so much. I feel bad for it. Partially because it's just being outbought massively, so they can't really compete, even if they wanted to. They kind of can't. I know that we have a lot of wood, but wood is such an easy investment in China that it should have a use kind of everywhere in their states that we're just going to invest into it anyway. That being said, at least we can get all the dividend tax. We can't get the dividend taxes. I just realized something tragic. We can't get the dividend taxes, can we? That's why our dividend taxes are so low. Most of our stuff is owned out of state, so the dividend taxes won't apply. Huh. Seeing a new problem, mutual investments, if most of your stuff is owned by foreigners here. Yeah. We'll roll with it, but it's good knowledge to have. It's definitely good knowledge to have. I might need to increase the taxes on those subjects. Man, we're getting a lot of migration from Russia. Well, relatively speaking, because we get almost no migrants usually. It's not too much, but a couple thousand a week is nice. It's extra people that we otherwise wouldn't have. Oh, Britain has invaded Russia. Not for anything, they're just kicking them out. Ooh. Nope, they failed. Okay. I was gonna say, are they gonna do it? Are they gonna actually get in there? The answer is no. They're not. I mean, once the Qing like us, it should be a lot easier to impose our state religion on them. Not really impose it, just keep them loyal. Man, Britain owns so much territory, it's kind of scary. I'm kind of glad they're so appreciative of us, might be the word. We made them our friends so early on, and I'm kind of glad that we did, because they're scary. They are scary. Ooh, Circassia has a quite the population to employ still. Tea or cotton would work. I think our investments into Ukraine increased their unemployment. It did. But it also reduced... Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, you know how I mentioned... Yeah, I forgot. I'm an idiot. They're not in our market at all. I just assumed they were, because I almost always operate with market unification. We could switch to that now, I guess. It would just slow down our research. Maybe we get compression ignition, and then we switch to it so Ukraine's in our market. But until then, we'll just kind of import grain here, because it's one of the few things we need. We do have China now, technically, which may have been what actually solved our grain problems. I don't think it did, though. I think I'm just kind of pretending that it did. There's a revolution in the Rhine. A Rhine-volution, you could say. I'm sorry, that was bad. That was awful. You know what I will do, though? I will take all these gold mines that Britain has failed to invest into, and I'm just going to invest into them. And the Americas, without a care of what it actually does. Because we can at least profit off the gold. Well, the reactionaries don't want to be our subject, and I imagine, yeah, you're still fine. What? I mean, we could just ignore this, unless Belgium should fall to minor power because of this, right? They would. So why don't we go make a new friend with guns? Probably shouldn't make friends with guns, but well, that's kind of what we're about to do. So yeah, it'll be fine, I promise. It might be fine. Ooh, Austria is a major power. And I think Britain might manage to humiliate them. I don't think that knocks them to minor power, but we'll have to just kind of watch and see how that goes. Where did Russia get this huge army? Oh, I think it's because they were humiliated. They didn't get like a huge army. They did mobilize a bunch of conscripts though, so it could be partially due to that. Though I think it might just more have to do with the fact they're not being humiliated anymore. Sultan also wants to end child labor. The industrialists are not happy about him using his power, though, but whenever you ever cared what the industrialists think, they kind of don't have power. They don't have that much power here, at least. Cut down the size in England. Oh god, America, please, no. America, please. They already started one war over this. Don't start another. Just wanted to see if Britain would offer anything. Nothing of value. I mean, the word valley has value, but realistically, nothing of value. Oman backed down against a Omani modernist revolt. So you're saying they've left the power block now? Well, this won't do. You know what? Oman might become a subject after all. I just need access. I just realized Najd doesn't have access. Its border's a bit impassable. Yep, so a modernist revolt they backed down to, which allowed them to kind of break free. We're gonna fix that. Oh wow, the Socialist Workers' Federation is getting a lot of the votes now. Like, the Islamic Party is suffering badly. I'm sure it's fine. Oh, and then they just backed down. I didn't even add, what is this world coming to? There's too much, I'm sorry, there's too much happening in this world too fast. It's way too much. Could we just please end child labor so the casualty rates of child labor go down a little? That is... Hang on, I didn't realize the Belgians had a huge army. Oh, are they on National Guard? Is it just the National Guard? Really? Huh. I guess all that time in the German bloc allowed them to get a fair number of pops, didn't it? Yeah, oh yeah, look at that. 21.5% North German, South German, North, yeah. About a fourth of their country is German. So they just had a lot of migration going on there. My hope in investing into all these gold mines overseas and just controlling them is to just profit off of the dividends. That's just all we're looking for is dividend profit. Can the Americans succeed where the Spanish failed? Maybe. They, yeah, no, yeah, the answer is yes. I don't know if that's gonna shatter their control over anything in China. I don't think it's been long enough. Maybe it has been long enough, I'm not sure. We'll find out when the war ends. Children? What children? Yeah, no, the Americans have, like, just gone and done it. They've occupied the capital. I think that's the capital, right? Yeah, it is capital state. They just have to hold it now. And not fall themselves. There's an invasion going on in America. While a reverse D-Day is happening over here. I mean, the Brits burned down the White House, now the Yanks are gonna burn down the Big Ben. And probably Parliament. Probably both, really. I mean, you know, they're there, they may as well do both at once, right? Kind of get it over with. Nope. We have a lot of bureaucracy that we need now. We really should research into telephones and get that going, but I want to get compression ignition and just kind of send our oil economy to the stars. We also have a year to do the women in the workplace petition before the trade union just gets really upset with me. We're at least trying now, though, so they shouldn't get too upset. Well, we could probably succeed in this, actually. They have more clout than before. We'll see. I wish that Sunni ulama were led by a feminist or something, but I don't think they can be. I think the closest you can get is that they can be led by a social democrat in terms of going to left-wing politics. I think. I'm not certain on that, because I feel like there are parts of this game I still don't know, even after playing over 3,100 hours of it. I can't wait to turn China into the Sunni faith. It's gonna look awful, especially because of the scar Britain has running through it. That's why I'm kind of hoping that the cut down the size will just cause that to be returned, but I'm pretty certain it won't be. Okay, they just had peace, and to my... Oh, no, wait. Southern Anhui was returned to Qing, so Qing did get a single state back. It's something to be celebratory about. They got a single state back. Woo! Britain has no infamy. Now, Britain is 15 infamy. They just could not wait. They just had to go knock on someone else's door seconds later. They couldn't even wait for the war to be over. I guess the war had to be over, but I'm not so certain about that. I mean, you know, we could just build a bunch of rice farms for our grain needs instead of the plantations. That would employ their peasants without creating excess unemployed. It's not a terrible idea. We are about to crash the coal market, though. You know what we do need? Textiles. You know who needs jobs? The Chinese. So what if we build some Ottoman textiles everywhere? And then, again, watch as half of them are owned by the British. We could end the investment agreements, but we're this far in. 37? 37? 30 of them are British? I'm sorry. I have to just watch how this unfolds now. It's too good. I hate it, and I love it at the same time, even though it's made it to where our upper strata does not really have much of a say here. Then again, they didn't have much of a say to begin with ever since we installed the clergymen into the financial districts. We could actually switch to publicly traded in the end. I'm glad you can still switch to that, but again, we're kind of LARPing a little with the power block we chose with the religious convocation. So, we're just gonna roll with it. Not there yet. We might actually get women in the workplace at least, get some women's rights going. Which will be nice to get that growing a lot faster, because then we could actually... I was gonna say then we could build more, but at 45... Oh my god, the British just can't help themselves at this point. The British must have a really, really good investment pool, which I guess makes sense if they're investing overseas a lot, huh? Well, that should be fun for them. Our standard of living has actually gone down, but our GDP's gone up, so that means someone's doing well. It's just not us. It's just not some of us. Okay, since we've at least got to drafting, the trade union's only going to lose 5 approval now, which isn't as bad. Honest. It's a lot easier to handle, that's for sure. But I keep checking. Oh yeah, wait. I could just check when our truce runs out. 10 weeks, 21st of November. Literally, all I have to do is check when the truce timer runs out, so we don't have to keep checking it every 5 seconds. Sheesh. Look at me being very inefficient. Compression ignition. Education level 5. We could... I kind of want to keep advanced research because... Ooh, political agitation. Because it would help our subjects with research a bit, especially if they do have any education systems. And a lot of them do, but to my knowledge, a lot of them are also kind of already doing fine-ish when it comes to technology. My concern is that I want them to have pump jacks at least, and decent-ish agriculture. It's a nice bonus that they have zeppelins too. Like Egypt does not appear to have it yet. Are we giving them any? We have been giving them knowledge sharing. Speaking of knowledge sharing, should give that to Qing. But I'm probably gonna switch to it anyway, just to put Ukraine in our market. That way we can kind of use their people to our advantage more. We will see. I know Qing's in our market though, so we also have that to invest into now. So we could kind of just ignore the Ukrainians, honestly. Well, not necessarily ignore, we are importing the grain from them, but you get the idea. God, I forgot how much we're trading with Britain. That's sickening. We should trade with them more. You know what would be really funny is to give the Russians opium and then hope they get an opium obsession. I do kind of want to war them more and take more stuff from them, but it's also funny that they might become addicted to opium, and then the only way to get opium is from us. Because we have a pseudo-monopoly on the trade since India collapsed. Well, this is going to be disgusting as well. State religion, state religion, state religion. Ah, yes. Enjoy your enforced religious belief. Ah. I don't know how much they're gonna convert per week because we only get the Ottoman Empire's list and not theirs. But I can tell you a lot of people are about to be less happy. They're on freedom of conscience, but that's actually enough for it to already start converting. And we could kind of go ahead and leave it there. The Confucian scholars are probably very confused right now as to what religion they're supposed to be enforcing. As much as switching, as nice as switching the state religion would be, I'd rather just keep it on freedom of conscience. That way, we don't destabilize Qing a bit with rebellion. They're also rebellious because of this, but I feel like that's a little irrelevant right now. We don't care too much, right? Probably not. Take off the luxury tax. We could actually raise... We'll actually raise our military's wages just to increase their standard of living. At least reward the military for their valiant, continual death service. Ooh! Unfortunately, we're allied to Britain, so we can't intervene into this. But it would be nice if that succeeded. It won't. They have nowhere near enough troops. But it would be nice if that succeeded, and since they're Han, they'd probably rejoin with Qing, if I'm correct. That'd be great. It's not gonna happen, but one can hope. This is the problem with allying Britain so much, that we're kind of stuck with them now. You don't wait for political agitation to finish. That will give us the research we need for the event. Graduate taxation wouldn't really help us. I think proportional is kind of the best we can do. I think per capita would be worse, right? Yeah, way worse. Just because of the increased income tax that we get. Oh! I was so distracted with... Yeah, I'm sure people yelled at me about this. I was so distracted by the whole converting all of China, almost all of China into the Sunni faith. I forgot we kind of got this new technology involving oil to use. Yeah. Oops. So what that means is we are going to do something very stupid. We're gonna murder our need for engines, but we're also going to introduce automobiles. That's why we're kind of paying for them right now, because there's going to be this initial drop and attempt to fire, and then it's going to switch around. We'll switch the other mines over shortly, but before we do that, we do kind of need to significantly expand the oil rigs in Baku. And I know we're kind of paying for additional wages here. I'm just trying to make sure this doesn't immediately crash on itself, because it does need time to buy up. You know what we could do? I actually just noticed it. The Americans are already importing automobiles, but we could export these. Oh, Russia embargoed us. they just embargoed us. And I just remembered we have an embargo on Russia. That's probably why they did it. Well, you know, you can't blame me for trying. And since we have a lot more engines now, we'll just go to the urban centers and introduce public trams. Usually, in my experience, this is worthwhile because you'll have excess transportation, and usually, by doing this, the engines will be very cheap in the long run. The automobiles tend to be more expensive, so that will get us some more workers. We can also upgrade the steam engine to diesel. And that should see a kind of a bump in the market here. We still have to expand the tanks? The mines. Wow, I'm already thinking way too ahead of myself here. The tanks. Oh, God, yeah. So the motor industries, I was gonna say, should be fine. They are not fine. Oil got very expensive. We're actually having to export automobiles because we don't have a lot of an upper strata, I guess, huh? Well, at least by upgrading this, we made some laborers into engineers, and then we added engineers and machinist jobs. Rubber is doing fine, it's just oil is expensive, which is really unsurprising. We're actually getting a lot of construction on this now that isn't us. Just take the one where they have to adjust. That's... I'm not gonna say it's the most benign option, it's the one that gives me a positive with no negatives. That's why we're taking it. Because I don't get any blowback for it. Man, the Baltics is a great place to hit Russia from, but it loves to revolt. As you can see, though, our GDP is skyrocketing. We've already hit 400 million. We're getting a burst of unemployment, which will be nice once we're done investing into Qing here, which is definitely going to produce a lot of clothes now that we can then export. Maybe. I just realized we're not destroying the infrastructure here, are we? No? Excellent. They are actually investing in the infrastructure. Not investing, they're paying for it, right? Fantastic. Excellent. That's my Qing. It's just because they're on traditionalism, which gives minus 15% market access price impact, and it really sucks. And I can't describe how much I dislike it. Australian proletarian revolt. Cool. Where can I sign up? Ooh, Belgium's a minor power. I'm gonna use our obligation to make Belgium our ally against their will. Belgium has accepted our alliance. I don't think we can invest into them at all. Oh, we can propose an investment agreement. There you go. All is maybe right in the world. I think I know where all the investment into the oil rigs are coming from. Britain, oh man, our oil company is not gonna own a lot of oil, is it? It's gonna own some of it. It's not gonna own a lot of it. It's, oh my goodness. I didn't think we'd be bought out by the British so thoroughly, but here we are being bought out by the British so thoroughly. Alright, the Sunni ulama will still oppose switching to women's suffrage, but the reason why I wanted to wait until we got that event, or the women's suffrage, call for women's suffrage, is because once we get to the next election campaign and have women's suffrage enacted, since the Sunni ulama have patriarchal, we can get an event to convert it to where this will be a more modern patriarchal. They'll still endorse legal guardianship, but it'll make it to where they no longer oppose women's suffrage. So, you know, they'll still... We're actually gonna take the one that keeps the ulama happy, because a happy ulama, rather a loyal ulama, doesn't intervene in the process. I do love that change. It's only 8%, guys. It's fine. Man, these movements get powerful all the time, don't they? I mean, who could have seen this coming? Why are you getting lots of support? I'm curious. I'm sorry, that's the wrong one. We don't have claims, do we? Number of claims. We have claims? Where do we have claims from? I don't think we have any claims of the Ottoman Empire, do we? Oh, we have a claim on Serbia, don't we? Yeah, okay, I'm sorry. We actually do have a claim on Serbia. That could be what's causing it. I don't think that's what's causing it. But that technically that could be it right there. We done subsidizing. We could keep subsidizing motor industries to increase wages, but I'm not doing that. That was just temporary subsidies to make sure it wouldn't fall apart. We're exporting almost half the automobiles we consume, and then engines are just cheap. But look at that profitability. It started there, and now it's so high. Granted, that's because it hasn't really upped the wages in the end. I'm sure it will change its mind, though. I can definitely tell you, though, motor industries are so profitable once you get the oil going in them. They're technically profitable with and energy too, electricity, but you know, come on. The real profit is with oil. Let's be real. I don't know which of their districts actually owns. How much of this is actually outside their country? 33 in Ankara. They're already. Oh wow! So they're buying up the ones I've put in China, and so's our company. Man, the dual textile companies competing to buy things out is kind of funny and scary at the same time. We still have the ability to export, so I guess we'll just export. And that is actually a good segue into investing into our port infrastructure that is still not maxed out. Because why not? Mosul's found more oil. How is Baku doing? Baku is doing fantastic. Baku actually has no employable people now because there's two... This is why the Greener Grass campaign is just staying active forever in Baku, because we're going to need so many people there to employ for all the oil now. Standard of living's hit a new peak. So that's pretty neat. I don't think we're going to hit 1 billion GDP like I was hoping, but with Qing in our block, the block itself could hit 1 billion GDP. I don't know if we will, but we're gonna try our hardest here to get to it. Wonder if we actually. I was gonna say maybe we want more construction, and then I'm reminded of the construction queue going on where there's. Oh yeah, Belgium's building here now too. Who owns who in this situation? I'm very curious. Oh, we don't own any of their economy, but they own 0.2% of it already, of ours. Oh, keep the theocrat here. The Ottoman American Fellowship. Oh, Germany has started an investment rights play against Austria. I did not expect to be reading that. So our two rivals are now going to war. Sweet. I mean, get the popcorn. This will be great. Standard oil. I've gotten that achievement before. You're supposed to get that if you own... Isn't it supposed to be 30 oil... If you own 30 oil rigs in a foreign country? I'm sorry, that's my game rules. I'm sorry, I have to check this really quick. There's a lot of achievements I do have, and a lot of achievements I don't have. Own at least 30 levels of oil rigs in foreign countries. So wait, you're telling me, while they've been buying our oil rigs, we've been buying their oil rigs. So, what is this oil rig mania going on here? Okay, apparently we're buying oil rigs so hard, we're making more oil rigs exist than there should be. 11 out of 10 in Ohio. Well, you can never have enough oil, right? I'm glad to see unemployment is rising, because that means we have people to employ. Let's go back to luxury clothes. We're just going to end the service tax again. The Netherlands has sided with Germany for what? Regime change in Austria. Oh, Austria is about to get thrown out of major power status. We may want to keep a very close eye on that one. Are we only now urbanized? Jesus, okay, alright. Wallachian opinion has decreased to aloof. Well, have you been going bankrupt? You went bankrupt almost 10 years ago. Synthetic silk research. Oh, has their silk industry collapsed? What? No! Moldavia got hit with the piperine epidemic twice? Oh my god! So it just can't produce anything. It's just dead. Oh my god, that's awful. I don't even know if they know how to resolve the epidemic. I see they have to encourage agriculture industry, but until they research pasteurization, it won't fix it. We're actually gonna get women's rights in the Ottoman Empire. This is a very bizarre game. We're also at the point where we can actually annex Egypt, and I'm actually kind of torn. I'm torn now. Because Egypt got recognized. Okay, Egypt is actually a recognized power. That's why it costs so much to annex them. Huh. They're a recognized power with slave trade. Can we just kinda maybe not? I don't know, we've come this far without annexing. Oh, they sold off the Suez Canal. Well, that's my fault. That's my fault. I should have seen that coming. I kind of want to annex Egypt now, just because they're loyal, but I also kind of don't want to because we got this far with it, and it's just kind of amusing. Ooh. Ooh, hang on. I'm a little scared here. I'm gonna have to really kind of play this as a day-by-day thing. What I was hoping to do was to ally them and then make them a protectorate, but they managed to call me in the second the treaty was made. Sardinia joined against... Oh no, Sardinia joined them. Let's... Oh! Yeah, no... man, dang. Okay, that didn't... that didn't work out at all. I was trying to be really sneaky and make Naples a subject through that. I was trying to be very sneaky. Sometimes the AI won't ask you right away, but as you noticed, sometimes they will ask you almost immediately. And I wasn't able to get the timing down there. So a little unfortunate, but that's okay. You can sometimes use that though, because if the AI is your ally, they're more likely to agree to any sways. The problem here, though, is that they also might just sway you into it before you have a chance to say anything. So we just kind of ruined our relationship with Naples. But that's kind of okay. We are researching antibiotics next, try to get our standard of living up a bit more. Also help with the fact that our pop growth is just going to fall now because our standard of living is rising. Hey, tractors! Those could come in handy. And I just realized we have compression mission tractors, so we can completely bypass that. But we can use our coal. Which means I'm gonna start switching these over. In fact, what are we doing on iron? Oh yeah, by the way, don't read too much into this. It says we're gonna make less iron if we do this. That is a lie. That is a lie. The game is lying to you when it says that. You know what? We could just switch over to coal, too. I'm sure this will have no repercussions on the economy. Oh, oil only went to +8. Coal went down to -27. We could use that for power. You know what else? We could also just export more of it. We have also gotten women's suffrage. When is our next election? It's 19... Oh, we just had our election, didn't we? Yeah. A bit too little too late there, I guess, huh? Oh well. How is the Sunni faith doing? It is converting at a slow rate. It is converting, just not at a quick rate. Which, I guess, fair enough. How would it be if we switched it to state religion? Huge opposition. Huge opposition. Alright, fair enough. Second Ottoman fleet is mostly complete. I don't think that rhymed. It kind of vaguely sounded like it did. I do love how our Sunni ulama are very powerful despite everything. We have census suffrage. Practically everyone can vote. And the clergy are still very powerful. So that's probably a good thing in our circumstance. We could enact worker protections. Although the Sunni ulama think that that's going a bit far. I'm not inclined to agree with them. But we are going to end our consumption tax instead. Just to kind of... Wow, that economy is booming. Ooh, prestige. I do love me a good prestige booster. Have we still not finished constructing all those textile mills? Oh, they're suffering a huge construction inefficiency. They have trade unions? Huh. Neat. Well, that explains why it's taking so long. I guess we'll kind of expedite it a bit. We'll cancel the ones in Xi'an. Let the other ones finish, just so we can get back to all the constructions we queued up a little bit ago. We might have to just build more construction, but, you know, Britain's kind of picking up the slack for us. Kind of. Alright, Austria, how are you doing? You are temporarily going to lose your your major power status. The question is, do you lose it before you reach 425, or will you reach 425? They might reach 425, I don't know, we'll see. Another revolt. This is why I like combining certain subjects together into a larger subject, to minimize revolt chance. Just because they revolt a bit too often for my liking. Opium ban, all that good stuff. Are you going into debt at all, China? You're not. Interesting, you managed to get out of your debt crisis. And you're no longer going in debt. How is that possible? Because your economy is a lot larger than it was now, so you actually have more money to use. That makes sense. That makes sense when you think about it like that. Because there's more people who are employed in these textile mills now that they can tax too. That wouldn't single-handedly fix it. It's probably because they're also part of a wider market now that is able to supply them with a lot of stuff. And since we have a land border with China, we don't have to spend any convoys for this, which is very nice. That's the great thing about our situation. We don't really need to spend that many convoys for our market connections. We only spend about less than 400, actually. Yeah, I think Austria is going to become a stay a major power in the end, which is slightly unfortunate. I was absolutely going to jump them if the opportunity presented itself, even if it put us at pariah status risk. I was absolutely going to jump them. We'll check on it again in a bit. When? 29th of November. So we'll check back in November, because that's when it'll have been a year, and that's kind of when it started to take effect. Because they went below the requirements the moment the war ended. We are nearing 500 million GDP. Scandinavia. What are you doing against Scandinavia? Why is Scandinavia going to war against you over Burma? Return Scandinavian West Indies. Oh, right, because the Danish have a tiny piece of the West Indies early on. Do we just end our alliance here with Britain, maybe? So the next time the Han revolt, we could decide with them. But we trade a lot with them when we invest with them a lot. I just don't feel ready. I mean, I guess we'll join you. Yeah, I figured that probably costs too much, doesn't it? Because we can only do one that's worth 20, I think, right? And that's 40. That's a shame. That's a shame. I'm sorry, who owns Wadai? Germany? Who we could annex and put into British Ottoman Niger, I guess. I guess we could take that. That's acceptable to me. That's something we can use. Then we will just kind of resolve this really quick. Just send someone. I don't care who you send. just send someone to take care of it. It'll be fine. Oh yeah, we could definitely reach 1 billion GDP as a power block, which is mostly us and our subjects. Okay, this is an event you can sometimes get where you can kind of arrest an oil baron. And you just kind of, wait, we're arresting the trade union leader? I'm a little I'm a little confused. Okay. I guess. That event confused me a little. So we've elected what a cruel feminist. Man, that sentence doesn't sound right out of context. Anyway, I do see our companies, what few stuff they do own. They're very profitable. Actually, 41 of 60 in the Ottoman Empire. They actually own most of them. They actually own one in the US. Ooh, do we export this? We don't really export this, no. Wow, the food industries are surprisingly profitable. I mean, of course they are, but sometimes it's not very profitable, you know? Are they targeting us at all? No. Scandinavia backs down. Fantastic. We got nothing then. We were just a pressure campaign for Britain. We got nothing out of that because our demand was secondary, so if they back down, it doesn't count. We are definitely going to make the Qing a puppet the second we're able to. And then... Oh! Ooh. Ooh. This is a stupid risk. We are going to get ourselves killed for this. But the Ottoman Empire making Austria a protectorate? I'm sorry, I have to. This also technically doesn't make us a pariah, so my own personal interest of avoiding pariah status, just because, is maintained. Technically, we could be a lot more aggressive here and go pariah. That being said, if you do have a lot of subjects like we do, and you have places like Qing who are subjects, I would not recommend going full pariah, because if you go full pariah, the infamy gain to Liberty Desire becomes just straight up +2. So it's going to be extremely difficult for you to maintain order. We might lose... No, because, thankfully, because we're allies to Britain and the US, despite the fact our infamy is literally almost pariah status, because of our alliance, they don't feel threatened, which is great. I am going to not demand any of these, because that will kill us. We're going to demand war reps. We're going to threaten to liberate Hungary, not that we're going to actually do it. And they should be, like, so fearful I don't have to invite anyone. The problem here is that I kind of need them to back down, because if they don't, and does Austria change... You know what? Let's actually... We'll call Ukraine into this war. And that's kind of all I can do. I kind of need them to back down, because if they don't, there is a risk they'll become a major power during the conflict. And that, there's actually an extremely high chance they will, now that I think about it. They could very much do it before this diplomatic play is even over. So we are kind of running on a very thin timer here, and I very much hate that. I better make sure everyone's, like, set to aggression here. Maybe add a second general here and there, too, regardless of who they are. Yeah. Sardinia, Piedmont sides with them, too. We really need Austria to back down here, because otherwise I don't think there's going to be enough time, unless we can slaughter their army very quickly. I don't think they're going to back down. I guess... I need to make sure everything targets them, though, too, so the others can't prevent us. We could add in some additional liberations. I don't think that's going to pressure it, because the more things they lose by not surrendering, the greater chance they won't... The greater chance they could back down, but there are times when the AI is going to be stubborn like a player, and they're just going to tell you, no, we're not surrendering. Fight to the death. Fight us. And I know delaying it is just increasing the risk here. Oh, it's so high. Yeah, they're not going to back down. We're going to have to fight it. Okay. I think now is a good time to call upon conscripts of our own. Just to add numbers to the front to end this war faster. We will probably fail in this unless we are able to push very quickly. And I don't think we're going to be able to push quickly, but we will try. My hope here is that we can just murder their country fast enough, but that's just hoping that we can knock down their prestige from their military, which is half their prestige, so if we can knock it down fast enough, there is a chance. But that chance is not a guarantee, and I'm kind of focusing on that more than I am focusing on building up China. There are some areas in China that are no longer revolting, so that's good. How's coal doing? 16%? We're gonna calm down a minute here. You know, I could go for some more grain. Oh wait, they're automating their grain. Never mind. Grain? Why would I ever invest into that? He says, shortly after trying to invest into it. Is there any opium investments we can make still? There are. Wow, there are quite a bit. Oh wow, 240,000? Really? So, plop a bunch of opium plantations in there. How much do we export? 12k? Excellent. We're trying to do the naval invasion as well on the side, just to speed it up. But we are kind of getting, intercepted a little. Which I suppose is, you know, it's fine, it happens. Could invest into more production. We could get steam turbine and then try to actually use electricity. Or, and I think what we'll actually do is we will just start investing in the military tree. And concrete dockyards. The prestige has dropped a bit, so we are killing enough of them. We are killing enough of their army to reduce it. I just don't know if we're doing enough to do it in time. Because I think if the prestige negatives are dropped enough, they could get it. There we go. We have another front to get us closer to the capital here. Kind of splits their army a bit up too. They could actually have them hold position there, but I'm not going to. Okay, the prestige is dropping. We might get this. Ooh, you're not calling me in as an ally right away. I think we might just back out of this. One, because the US might join Germany's side. Two, we're trying to get Austria as a subject here. We cannot afford any distractions. I'm sorry, Britain, you're on your own. Oh, Austria as a subject, making it Sunni. That would be amazing. Oh, please. We do have to kind of get to their capital, though. Which is, why are you leaving? Didn't order you to leave. I don't know why you're suddenly leaving. Please stay there. Because a different third front opened up because of a pocket, so I guess they just automatically assumed they were supposed to go there, I suppose. I don't know. The AI can be a little weird at times. I think we've kind of just slaughtered their army, haven't we? Yeah, the Austrians have lost almost 100,000 men in battle already. I think we're killing their army fast enough that they won't become recognized in time. 25% technology could help them, though. I think it'll be fine, though. That forced regime change is kind of helping. We got a bit of progress towards Austria's capital here. Of Austria. I'm nervous because I really want it to succeed, and I don't think it's gonna succeed. But it could. It might. We won't know until we've walked in. Spain left. Okay, fantastic. That'll make this easier then. Oh, stop. I don't want to give you stuff. Okay. What time are we at while we just let this fight in the background? We're kind of at our hour 23-minute mark. We're actually doing a lot better on time than I thought. Actually doing very well on time. I thought we were going to be a bit more behind before we got to the 1920s, so we're making great progress, considering how the game performance gets by this point in time. I'd say we're doing excellent. 38 foreign queues. I just want to check on my opium plantation investments here. So we do need to make sure that we don't actually liberate Hungary and Galicia and all that. We were just doing that to try and pressure them into surrendering. It didn't quite work, but we can still use it at the negotiation tables. My God. We're just kind of... I know I stopped investing here for a bit because we're at war and all that. That's not the excuse. My excuse is that I wasn't really paying attention. But, you know, I'm more focused on us getting a new, healthy, absolutely, definitely not unstable subject in the Empire. And I think we've gotten it. I think we've gotten it. We have actually done it. So almost all of Qing, almost all, and all of Austria are now subjects of the Ottoman Empire. We're probably not going to do another war for almost the rest of the game because we're going to be focused on destabilizing our infamy here because so many people dislike us now. And we're going to try to prevent revolts. Wait. wait. Germany exists as a country. We shouldn't be able to organize the Confederation of the Rhine. Wait, that shouldn't be wait. Does it not check for if Germany exists? So if we can get Switzerland and Belgium as subjects, we could combine them into one larger subject. I don't think the United Baltic provinces would combine into this. They are German, but they're not in the strategic regions. Okay, well, that is funny. That is very funny to me. We'll see how the Austrian economy does now that it can be invested into against its will. Which, you know what that means? We can actually invest into it for wine. Oh, Healthy Man of Europe. I do have this achievement. I've gotten it before, but it is nice to get it in this run. The tax evaders. We're actually 23 standard of living now. Very nice. Although that is with a +3 from modifiers, but even though it's a +3 from modifiers, that means the average is 20. Which I would argue is still pretty good. Can actually raise government wages now just to raise that higher. We're just gonna get into that. That is a level 200 business. Anyway, we are just going to kind of get into that investment loop now. Let's just build 10, 20 furniture manufactories here for the unemployed in the place that has no wood. Because our market access price impact is at 95%, so I'm just not gonna care. 52%. Look at you, Sunni ulama. Look at you. I like the machine guns. You get 5 offense and 10 defense added to your army. It's a straight up 5 offense, 10 defense. I believe you don't see it until they're mobilized. Because I checked in previous versions. Not really this one though. 124 average annual wage, and it's got a productivity of almost 40? Well, according to the company list here, this says that it's 295. I assume oh wait, that's because this is the productivity of the buildings in the country that they own. Right. Completely different circumstance. Oh yeah, see, everyone must change with the times. If any interest group has patriarchal and they're in your government, you can convert them to modern patriarchal. I believe it's only for, you know, let me add in the landowners really quick. I think it's only for whoever's currently there. Do the Sunni ulama even have patriarchal? They do. I think it can only affect the larger of the two if they're both in there, which is fine. We want it to impact the Sunni ulama because now they're not going to be as upset about it. They still get a little upset in this case because they're led by a traditionalist. But without the traditionalist, they really don't care. This is funny. We might hit the Confederation of the Rhine button when we're at the end, just to point and laugh at Austria. But that is hilarious that you can actually do it when Germany is formed. It's just, you probably wouldn't be able to do it if Germany's formed, since a lot of the little statelets, a lot of the little German statelets would no longer be around. So they probably never really thought to put a check about Germany actually existing. Just because the probability that you would be able to do it is really low. But we've technically done it, so there you go. I just don't want to hit it now, because if we get Austria or Belgium as a subject, that'd be great. Belgium could become a subject, but we have such high infamy that I wouldn't count on it. Honestly, wouldn't count on it. Our GDP is definitely going to be over 1 billion now that Austria's added to it. But even without Austria, we would have hit it. Austria was just kind of helping us reach that goal faster. Oh, the investment pool actually covers half of our construction costs now. It's managed to catch up after buying enough stuff, I guess. Company headquarters, financial districts, manor houses, then coffee, gold. Yep. It took them a while, but they were able to finally own enough stuff to actually catch up and matter. Since they can pay for a portion of it, we'll go ahead and just build some more of these. We do have a lot of unemployed that will soon grace the streets after all. How's Brandebel doing? It owns 18 now of 218. Yeah, that sounds about right. Are we still trying to build... No? Why does it say we are? I guess someone else is trying to build that then. I have to really be careful and check that before I start clicking mindlessly, because I might just start deleting buildings when I think all I'm doing is just ending my construction queue. Yeah, wood is really cheap now, so logging camps are just kind of suffering. That's not unusual. I'm trying to decide if we should even invest into electricity. I kind of want to, but I don't think we need to. It would be a nice thing to get, but it's not really something we need at our current stage. If we were to keep going long enough, I could see us investing into it for conveyor belt purposes. The assembly lines, I could see us investing into that and using the cheap coal or all the oil that we have down here. But I don't quite think we need it that badly. I was about to ask, where are our unemployed? Apparently some of them are down here. I think we can really invest into luxuries, can't we? Yes, we could start switching some of them over at least, because I know a fair number of them were never switched over, because we always needed more regular clothes due to just the average wealth of the empire not being that great. But now it's gotten larger, the empire extends to greater heights. Why are there 100,000 people unemployed here? Why are they here? I guess it's you know, I guess it's just their home. And you know what? I respect the dedication. I respect their dedication to starve to death in their homeland instead of going to find a job elsewhere. God, this sounds terrible out of context. Can we just move on to the part where we invest somewhere and the standard of living goes up? Oh, actually, the standard of living in Austria jumped once it joined the empire, as did the economy. Proof that we are a force for good. Probably. Honestly, we're probably not. We're really just kind of imposing our own religion onto other people without their consent. So for all intents and purposes, we are definitely not kind. I think the reason why the Sunni isn't converting that quickly, two reasons why in Qing. First off, they don't have religious schools, so that would slow it by a lot. Second off, a lot of their people are kind of they are radicalized, which does reduce the rate as well, relative to how much of that group is radicalized. I think at our current rate, we could probably easily reach the 1930s. We might be able to get all the way to 1936, but I'm not sure. We'll let it run for a bit here. Revolution in Brazil. Nice. I have to sometimes just pause and think for a moment while I'm letting it run. Otherwise, we'll never get done. We will be stuck here till the end of our days. Or at least until this video is 6 hours long, and then we're just kind of suffering already. It's bad enough I can't edit. It's gonna be even worse if I can't edit and it's 6 hours long, and it's just Victoria 3. And then we'll get concrete dockyards for more trade, because we have run out of convoys. Because we're exporting so much to the British and the Americans that I sometimes wonder if we're just an extension of their bloc. I don't know if we are. The French sure do like their wine. I don't know if you just need more... I'm just gonna build these railways anyway and just hope that's all they need is just more railways. Liquor is dirt cheap here. It is dirt cheap because that's upset. Wow. No one is buying liquor. I will be amazed if no one gets a liquor obsession just because of how absolutely cheap it is. Speaking of which, I would like grain prices to drop, please. So we're just gonna invest really hard into this one province in Austria, and I think it will just go fine. It'll go swimmingly. Nothing will go wrong at all. And we are kind of running a short surplus with a growing investment pool. So, why not ruin that surplus? I mean, we could lower taxes. Or I can ruin it, but with even more construction. You know? Yep. Pop growth is just going to keep falling as the standard of living rises, because when it gets really high, the population growth can fall to like 0.2 or 0.3%, even with some healthcare. And it is really cold today. I'm trying to stay warm, but that is slightly difficult. I kind of want to take that state from Russia, just to make the Circassian borders look nicer. It's the only reason why I want to seize it from Russia and start a war, despite having very high infamy. I want to tweak how the borders look a little. I'll even let them annex Khiva here, uncontested, because I want the borders to look a little nicer. Oh yeah, how are you doing? You're still on state religion. Can I actually... Wait. Qing is my protectorate. The Koreans are my indirect vassal, but I am allowed to dictate any potential changes. Okay, sure. I'm all for it. Let's try to get them on agrarianism if we can, so we can connect their economy to the rest of the market better. Because that would make them easier to invest in and build up, since the profitability won't be in the dirt. I imagine... Oh yeah, the Sunni conversion rate is going much better here. Do they have any... like, schools for this, maybe? No, it's just because less of them are radicalized. No, I'm not spending money. I mean, I am spending money. I'm just not spending money on whatever the heck they were offering there. Yeah, I am noticing a lot of these areas are not really converting. I don't know if I think the taboos for the religions don't apply still. I think they are just flavor. Last I knew, a patch or two ago, the religion taboos were just flavor. They didn't actually have an impact on pop consumption. I don't know if that's still true today. It might be, but it also might not be, and I have no idea. Ah, Naples is two Sicilies again. Probably because they own Sicily. Funny story behind why it's called two Sicilies, despite there's only one Sicily. Just the series of civil wars between two Sicilies, the Holy Roman Empire, the constant back and forth. Eventually, there was one person owning this part of Sicily, two Sicilies, that had it called Sicily. Someone else owns this part, and it's called Sicily, so they're both called Sicily. And eventually, when it's unified under one person again, they just kind of made it the Kingdom of Two Sicilies. Because both of them were just called Sicily at the time, between two kings, until one king unified it. Bit of a short story there, because I don't have all the details right in front of me, and I don't want to spew nonsense that isn't correct. But the short of it there is, two kings ruled over two different parts, both called it Sicily. Eventually, one of them rules it, now it's two. Two Sicilies. Because they just really liked the name Sicily, I guess. Just like how I really like investing in opium. This has an average annual wage of 26.3. Exporting opium has never been so good for the local economy. How much? 6% of the GDP here, and it's a third of it is opium, the prosperous standard of living. And they told me opium would be a terrible investment. The Chinese banned opium, said it was a terrible idea, and yet here we are. rich beyond our years, partially because of opium. Saying should probably be wise beyond your years, but I've decided it's going to be all about opium. In fact, all this opium that we can... I broke something. I don't know how I did it, but somehow I'm adding arable land to Egypt? Huh? Why is it? What? No, that's not... What? I thought 1.8 fixed this. Can I do this to my areas? Oh no. Why? Why have you broken like this? Is it because of excessive foreign ownership? That's the only reason I could think of. That still doesn't make sense though. Why? It's only breaking in some states too. In other states, it's still fine. I don't understand. I don't know why it's breaking. And it scares me that it's breaking and I don't know why. Ooh, you know what? We do need livestock ranches, don't we? This area does get a bonus to ranching, so why not? Even though there's lots of unemployed people who could probably do other jobs, why not do something else? You know? I mean, if we keep this up, we might be able to make this video less than 3 hours long. Though we are trying to get to 36. We could end at the 1930s just to shorten it, but that all depends on, how our circumstances are by then. Ooh, war propaganda. That never goes wrong. I can't imagine a time when that would go wrong. It could absolutely go wrong. We're not going to look at the chemical weapons. Okay, we might take a look at them in a bit. Not right this moment. Not right at this moment. We actually get modern financial instruments because we do have a small bit of government dividends, so we may as well profit off of them. But I think we're at this point now where I will just go ahead and switch us over to market unification. That way the Ukrainians are now a part of the Ottoman market, so we no longer have to import the grain. And they should probably enjoy a better standard of living. It'll also make it easier... Yeah, their standard of living is going up. It'll also make it easier to keep a grip on Ukraine and prevent them from slipping out of the bloc. Partially because we own a good chunk of their economy, but also now they're inherently reliant on us for buy orders. Ooh, Devil's Paintbrush. See, you can either give him 10% defense for 2 years, or you can give him Stalwart Defender, which gives him 10% defense for life. Kind of a no-brainer there. You either get 10% defense for 2 years on one guy, or you get 10% defense for life on one guy. I feel like that's kind of... I don't know if they intended for it to be designed that way. It kind of feels like not a knowledge check, but a check as to whether, are you actually reading what this is saying, or are you just clicking without reading? That's how it feels to me, but that might just be unintended. I think if the 10% defense for 2 years was more of a nationwide bonus, it would be competitive, but as it currently stands, one option is just vastly superior over the other. And it will always be superior. Why is Britain ahead of us again? How is Britain ahead of us again? They built a larger navy, I guess. Yeah, I saw 1,500 from Navy, 1,000 from the Army. I guess they are investing into us too, aren't they? Yeah. Ooh, 20 legitimacy for 5 years? Don't mind if I do. We could probably raise our legitimacy further by growing the army more. Or I can just not care. I mean, I do care. I'd like to be the healthiest man of Europe. The healthiest, biggest man of Europe. Probably taking that a bit far there. Look at that nice Ottoman market. With the extremely tiny connection to China that somehow means we owe no convoys. I can't say I dislike it because I am using it. But oof. Hmm? Oh, right. The Trucial States was an independent member the whole time, weren't they? Yeah. Yeah, they were atheist anyway, so we don't care. Or did they have a civil war and I didn't check? That's also possible. They're not really, they weren't really a big part of it, though. It's kind of okay. There's two churchill states. That's confusing. Very confusing, actually. What can I grant them? I can start granting Qing their subjects states. That's silly. That is really silly. Oh, cool. They're on isolationism and they have agrarianism. Can we end the serfdom as well? We may as well think about investing into Korea then, if they're so connected to the market. At the very least means their stuff is not as cheap. I know we can make good use of fishing for them. And then I guess iron? Just because we always do need more iron, and since they have that 15% shift in Mappy, they should be fine. This is why I want to get Qing off traditionalism, because it would help. It also makes your investment pool a lot better, because on traditionalism, everyone who invests into it has a 50% reduction to their contribution efficiency, which is just awful. It is just absolutely awful. Not to mention, again, just how terrible it is for the economy. No, I am a little curious, America. Do we own anything in America? Oh, we do. We kind of do. We own some places here and there. I think it's mainly the gold mines. But we have, like, pockets of investment here and there. I mean, same in Britain. So this hasn't been a one-sided exchange, at least. Kind of feels like it's been, with all the investments they've been doing into us. But it hasn't been. Our private investment pool's probably just been buying some stuff up as it appears. Crimean uprising in the Ukraine. Too bad they're a major power. We could make them a subject through that. But it's fine. We'll help them out. They probably don't need our help. They do kind of have over 100,000 men in their army. Actually, maybe they do need our help. For some reason, there's no border. Which doesn't make any sense, because there definitely is a border right here. A land border, right there. But the game apparently thinks otherwise, so we're probably going to need the Navy. Oh boy, do I love the Navy. Groceries are expensive? Are we exporting? We're exporting almost 7K, mainly to the British, but I'm a little surprised that groceries are quantifiably expensive. Usually, in my experience, groceries tend to get rather cheap. But I think it's usually because I'm a nation where we invest into grains like minus 25 to 30% base price. In this case, we've invested so hard in opium that we're having to invest into subjects to get grain, to have enough grain to feed ourselves. By, you know, again, taking them over against their will. They aren't even fully employing here. Liquor is so cheap. Maybe we should export the liquor. Can we export the liquor? We can export the liquor. I guess we'll export liquor then. Not that I have the convoys for this, but, you know, I figured we could. Bombay interest deactivated. Well, that's probably because we lost someone. I don't actually know what happened there. Oh. Alright, trying to reapply a few interests here, and I'm kind of losing them instead. Ukraine's actually doing the naval invasions. Are they winning? I assume they're not going to. We could just try to intervene ourselves the next time. With this, we now have the meat that we need to feed the food industries, and apparently whoever's eating it. Let's actually use this to kind of check for them. No, we've got, yeah, 19 here in the capital. I am surprised at how well it's doing. We do have access to very cheap sugar, which helps, but grain not being cheap might be a key cause. Although, once Pops reach standard of living 30, they will stop demanding grain. They will want more luxurious items for consumption. It could just be a circumstance where the average is getting higher there. combined with the grain price. I would like to lower taxes before we end this, just to increase the standard of living more. But that would require giving up construction to the private investment pool, which, I don't know if you've been noticing, they're a little behind. Because of all the foreign ownership in our business. Act of the Straits. I can't believe we've done so well in the end here. China is our subject, Austria is our subject. We reached as far as Ethiopia and Niger. Never did get around to annexing them because we got, you know, obsessed with annexing other areas. When does our truce end with you? There we are. June 15th. Okay. Then we can make the Austrians a little Sunni. Just a little. Decree dispute. Well, I mean, you've already bullied Peru, Bolivia, Brazil. I don't know if you can bully them any further. Religion. Should start with an R. We've mostly faded out this pocket of orthodoxy, which is nice. Ukraine is almost Sunni majority, so we've kind of punctured into the orthodoxy there. Confucian is seeing that breakup begin, but I think that's just because another one was close to begin with, and now they're kind of just converting. I don't think we're going to see Sunni over here in time, except maybe in Korea. Same with Austria, we won't really see it in time, but we can kind of start pushing into it. So that's fun. Wallachia switching to total separation still grinds my gears a little. We'll actually try to... Wow, they just straight up refused. Maybe we should annex Wallachia and give it all to Moldavia. No, it's not worth the 41 infamy. It's just, as funny as it would be, it is not worth the 41 infamy. It is just not. Speaking of infamy, Austria absolutely despises us with a passion. Which isn't surprising, we were rivals to them until we made them a subject against their will. Kinda makes sense they would hate us to the end of our days? Could lower taxes. Instead, I've decided we're just going to raise wages for the lucky few who work for the government. By lucky few, I mean probably millions of people, because there's a lot of government workers, I'm sure. Or at least hundreds of thousands for certain. Anyway, what better way to increase demand for luxurious goods? As I sabotage the railway network to interfere with the election results. Oh, Tibet never enacted agrarianism. I'm pretty sure they were trying and they just simply failed. Which is a form of refusal, I suppose. So, as I suspected, Ukraine did kind of fail to take Crimea, so I guess in a few years we'll just kind of come back and deal with that. They were kind of invading at the time. It's fine. Losing Crimea might kind of suck, but it was a tiny portion of the Ukrainian economy. In this game, that is. We'll make do. We'll make do. I like how the top 10 GDPs, 8 out of 10 are actually over 100 million. It's very nice. Austria is actually over 100 million. They've really been growing thanks to those investments we've been doing. Our standard of living jumping up kind of helps too. Although some of their people are kind of struggling still, so it's kind of a hit or miss on whether they're doing well or not. Wait. I own most of this, but some of their grain company is buying it up. That's fine. I'm just a little surprised that they have a grain company to begin with. Alrighty. There's not a lot of text left for us to grab. Pneumatic tools and steam engines we can make do, I suppose. I don't... I mean, we'll get close to 1 million GDP. A million. A billion. But a lot of the workforce ratio shifting takes time, and I don't think we have enough time to fully get it. The reason why it shifts at such a kind of slowish rate is mainly... Yep, there we get... sorry, I shouldn't deviate. Is mainly because this is to prevent you from quickly getting your workforce ratio back after a bloody war where lots of your servicemen are injured or die. That's the idea behind it, but this also kind of leads to the fact that a lot of your workforce ratio shifting, it takes quite a bit of time. Anyway, we switched to concrete dockyards, which use oil. The modern port. It also means we use less clerk laborers and machinists who were recently enjoying an increase in their wages and are now enjoying a recent addition of unemployment with the bare minimum of social security. So they won't be a burden on the government. Oh god, this is awful. Anyway, since that's kind of given us a lot more money to play with, we could lower taxes. We might lower taxes and then just see where that puts us. I don't know. Our standard of living is doing pretty good. Hang on. I just noticed. What is going on? So... they might take Qing Sozo. I can't really join this because... I mean, I guess I could join against my vassal. No, we'll just stay out of it. If they're only losing the treaty port I gave back to them, it's not really much of a loss. We're just gonna need to make them a puppet as soon as we can. We're just struggling because of infamy. Although the fact we're the same state religion is kind of helping in negating this. I just have to hope the Qing army is more up to the task now that they have access to a wealth of weapons from the Ottoman Empire. You know what? We have money. I'm gonna be biased. Let's drop our taxes to low just to see if we can't get the economy to grow even larger. Solely so we can sell even more things. Because, you know, exporting it just isn't enough for me. We have to sell a lot of it here, too. We do have the huge wage bonuses from our religion, after all. And loyal pops are probably easier to convert. Not really, it's just radicals are harder to convert. Speaking of which, we do technically have lots of authority I've not been using, which is probably getting me yelled at as well. Why don't we just kind of pop some of it here? Just to up the conversion rate of the orthodoxy in those areas. Because we kind of check... You're not... Sorry, I have to check locals here to make sure we're getting the right group. Because that extra... That decree gives that extra 100%, plus the 100% from education, 73% from the Sunni ulama impact of the Straits. Ooh, it's converting a decent chunk then. Because the base rate is, what, 0.2? Russia has declared war on us. To take things from Qing. That is unacceptable. Too bad there's no, like, return state war goal. Can we? I don't think we can. Can we liberate Siberia? Ooh, wait, we can. We could rip out a good chunk of Russia's agricultural and industrial potentials. I don't think they've really invested in here. They really haven't, so this isn't going to hurt them that much, but it robs them of the gold. Because we have a lot of infantry we're trying to get down. So what we'll probably do is just kind of... Well, if I liberate Kazakhstan, though, it's going to make the area below it look really bad. So we're to kind of liberate these in a combined state, or is that not happening? That's not happening, okay. I guess we can liberate Kazakhstan as well. And then kind of just liberate whatever makes this look less terrible. Yeah, effectively just kind of shoving them back here. Grab war reps. Why are they not our rival? Weird. Did they? I don't remember canceling that. That's weird. And then who can we invite if I haven't spent everything? I'm at 20. Oh, Britain kind of left this immediately. Presumably because they and Germany are currently having a tit for tat. We could call. I will call on Ukraine actually. Or, no, wait, it's a bit late now. I could have swayed them to see if they would have taken any territory instead on my behalf. That's fine. The United Baltic Governor, did I put you... Oh, I forgot to impose state religion on you. You're not exempt from service, it's just because the Qing got targeted. Okay. Could have slightly thought about that better, but we are going to just kind of call the United Baltic Provinces in and punch straight to Ingria. Or we could just attack through Ukraine, I suppose. That works too. 1927, you haven't had a revolt. I also just realized thanks to this war I'm going to raise taxes. Boo. Well, if anyone's upset about being taxed on... Oh, this means Qing's going to lose hard. Maybe that's why they declared war for it. Oh well. I mean, if you're worried, you could always just surrender. Oh, wow, they've added a lot of new war goals against Ukraine. Which is good for me, because that just means they're notorious and people don't like them. Do they have trench infantry? No, they have skirmishers. They just have a lot of conscripts. So we need to have a lot of conscripts, because we haven't really grown the army in a long time. Apparently the Russians have grown their army by a frightening amount. So I guess we know what we're going to do as kind of an emergency button here. We're going to randomly place recruitment centers in areas that probably can't afford to have their people recruited for a war, and then hope to God it all works out. We definitely have the better stats, though, that's for sure. Actually, near equal number. We could probably punch them and be fine. Speaking of which, though, maybe we should research defense in depth for the 10% defense. And then maybe research these, just so Russia can't dismantle our empire. Interpretation of dreams. Huh. So psychosis. I guess... Take the one that upsets the Sunni ulama. I want to see the... oh, a nihilist, right. Yeah, forgot about that. So we're winning our defenses, kind of winning an offensive push. Oh, they're taking a lot of casualties. That's good. That's good. I like to see that. You know what? Since they're taking a lot of casualties really fast, let's bring an army over here by sea, and then we could just disembark and add the United Baltic Provinces into it, unless they don't defend it by land. If they don't defend it by land, we'll just naval invade it then. We are kind of being convoy raided a bit, though, so trade is going to be a little iffy for a bit. We are building up all those ports to subsidize our trade further, but... Oh. I don't know why that's doing that in Bohemia. I'll just cancel those. Is this just 16 pages of ports? No, it's more like 10 pages of ports. So it's a lot of pages of ports. So you cancel this. Force military access. Here's your front line. And we're just going to have you convoy raid right there. And there we go. Now we have a new front line. Right on their capital. Where we can use all of our offense to our advantage. Instead of only a portion of it. This will at least allow us to dismantle Russia a bit if we succeed. We should succeed. There's little reason to think we won't succeed. The casualties are already decisively in our favor. They're taking twice as many losses as we are. And our infantry are made up of French infantry, while theirs are made up primarily of... The game has crashed. This is unacceptable. Okay, I am so sorry about that. I did not think the game would crash very randomly. That was the most random crash I've ever had. Okay. You could probably skip ahead 1 to 2 minutes, maybe 3, depending on how long this takes. We're just going to very quickly boot the game back up and keep going. We're 2 hours in. We are going to destroy Russia before we end this. Yeah, so once we destroy Russia, we will probably see where we're at. We're only a little over 2 hours. We've actually made very, very good progress. And then after this, we will maybe do a different game in the future. I'm still trying to decide on that. There's a number of games to play, but some of them can be very, very long. So it would be like multiple episodes of 4 hours of a game of just watching that being played, and I don't know if that's entertaining, because some games do not have very entertaining parts. Victoria 3, we at least have something going on all the time. I have been doing some games off the side, though, as well. Mostly games where I was kind of testing as Mexico due to a comment about, you know, can the military have a lot of power with the officers with the Age of Cordulio's modifier. I am happy to say, in the short term, yeah, very much so. I got one to be very powerful as Mexico. Very fun game. we are back into it. We are going to dismantle Russia here before the game murders itself again. Always gets unstable near the end, I think. I'm not sure. I also know that the latest Windows update... Oh, God, it crashed again. Okay, this is not good. I'm a little embarrassed by this because the game is now hard... It looks like the game is hard crashing at a specific tick, which is obviously not good. So here's what we're going to do. Because the game apparently is not letting us have our fun in ending Russia, we'll boot it back up again. We'll kind of just do an overview of things. Unfortunately, because the game is kind of crashing. I don't know why the game is crashing. It appears to be crashing at a very specific point. We are in 1928, so we are kind of at that end point where there is not too much left to go. But I'm really disappointed. I really wanted to see Russia kind of just be destroyed, you know? Let me make sure OBS is capturing this, because OBS has now crashed as well. It has not crashed, it's just not picking it up. There we go. Okay, so, for whatever reason, I wonder if it's one of the other wars that's ongoing, that maybe it's ending, like this war in Wadai, and that's causing the crash. Sometimes it's wars like that. Why is Britain not formed the Congo? Anyway, unfortunately, we're going to have to call it here and just overview. But what would have happened is basically everything, Russia would lose pretty much everything west or east of the Urals. So almost all of that would just be gone. I'm just going to quickly impose the state religion on Austria there, so we have that. Yay. God, that is really disappointing. But in a religious overview, since we're running out of time here, Ukraine is now kind of a simple majority of Sunni. Wallachia refused to convert, so that's annoying. There's now some Sunni pops everywhere in Austria just now, which would have converted over time and made that all Sunni. The pocket of orthodoxy here is kind of being mellowed out. And then the conversion rate in China is going really slow. It is technically going, though. But yeah, I think we're at 733 million GDP ourselves. The block's at 1.32 billion in total. And I think this went pretty well overall, considering a number of issues we had leading up to this point. Our standard of living is almost averaged at 25 with our low taxes. If we raised it back to normal, they'd probably drop to about 24, maybe just below 24. Because I'm pretty sure everyone that is somewhat relevant has already gone up in their standard of living. I am a little surprised, though, by how much foreign investment we are getting from Britain and America. It definitely kind of hobbled our own investment pool because they couldn't buy that stuff. Not that we were selling a lot of it to begin with. But a lot of these buildings have ended up being extremely profitable. It's kind of scary. The cheap fabric and stuff helps, obviously, but I'm amazed that this is paying an average annual wage of 30, for example. And everyone is doing so well, but it's also got a really high productivity value. It's really surprising. The amount of dividends it can cut up to. This isn't even maxed out. We could technically go for electricity, and if electricity is cheap, it would probably, with the prices being balanced out, lead to an even better result. But we never really invested into electricity there. Chart-wise for the population, about a fourth of the country is Turkish, 12% Greek, 10% Persian. I don't think they developed any obsessions outside the normal. We saw some wine and coffee obsessions there, but those are normal. They exist at the start of the game. I always like to look to see if any weird obsessions happen for any of the major powers. In my experience, it's usually a lot of minor powers that generate random obsessions or minor cultures. Just because a lot of their culture can be located into one country where something might be extremely cheap, and that kind of causes them to get the obsession. Because everyone's doing it. Yeah, I'm not really seeing anything. There might be, I bet you there are some. There might be some we forgot about. But I'm not seeing any that kind of stand out to me. I don't know. Do the Polish have one, maybe? No? Man, there's like none. At least none that I can see in the European territories. European territories. Because a lot of these, like, wine ones at the start are kind of already there. What about the Afro-Americans? North Indians? No. The poor Afro-Americans, I'm pretty sure their standard of living globally is terrible. Yeah, 11.3. There are 5.48 million Afro-Americans globally, and 4.59 million of them are slaves. Yeah, that kind of checks out, doesn't it? What about our culture map mode? We'll check that overview. Yeah, no, that's about how it feels. I think that is not as abnormal as I was expecting. A lot of the minor cultures still kind of have a majority in their minor territories. Maybe the Turkish numbers in Mosul are a little odd. There's actually a majority of Azerbaijani in Baku still, which is surprising given the migration there. I guess the Han over here in the Russian territories is a little weird. America's always a mess. Actually, I'm surprised by how few people they have in Texas, considering how valuable that can get. The English do have a lot of Vietnamese, which isn't too surprising in Shan. Japanese, I want to say that's odd, but they have a treaty port in Japan, so it could just be they got a lot from that one. But, you know, Europe is surprisingly normal. There's not really anything unusual here. Maybe the Belarusian numbers being lower and the Russian numbers being higher. I don't know if that's just because there weren't a lot of Belarusians to begin with, or if a lot of them died in conflict. Could be a bit of both, actually. Could be a bit of both. Yeah, no, this is kind of normal-ish. A lot of the Greeks are kind of majority where you'd expect it. A lot of the Turkish are kind of majority where you'd expect it. Nothing really unusual there. We kind of saw the map mode for religion. Standard of living-wise, our upper strata kind of managed to get wealthy in the end. They really started to kind of take off it in the wealth department near the end of it. Unfortunately, since we crashed, we don't really have the records. I am surprised at how expensive groceries are. I am used to groceries sometimes being so cheap that I actually struggle to have good wages in my food industries. These food industries have really good wages, that they're living secure and prosperous lives, or even affluent if you're the top dog kind of job. We are exporting a bit of it, but the vast super majority is being eaten. About 35% of the market kind of relies on it globally. But that's because, you know, we have a lot of China. They're eating a lot of grain and fish instead of groceries. So that is very fun. I'm trying to think if there's anything else we should probably cover really quick. I don't think there is. Except maybe just Britain investments again, but we did kind of cover that already. They did start investing into oil rigs like I suspected, buying up our opium plantations. Surprised they have so many manor houses in the home counties, though that kind of makes sense. It is their capital. It is just really funny to me, though, to go to the home counties and see that there's almost 2% of them are aristocrats. I think that's somewhat normal for the home counties to grow with that many upper strata. For Britain, because of all the colonies they own. Did they ever agriculturalize the Irish? No, they're still just living on peasant farms for the most part. That is such a waste of good resources. Yeah, no, I think this has been a very successful Ottoman Empire. We reached into Africa, reached as far as the coasts of Korea. We even made Austria a subject, got Ukraine to be a part of our market. If this was going to go on, we were going to basically tear Russia apart. I think Russia would still be a great power, but with the amount of land they'd lose, they'd be a very weak great power. They grew their army a lot to kind of take back what they lost from us, and were industrializing more. But I think losing all the gold mines over here that they undoubtedly have, yeah, even the gold fields too, because they did build up a fair number of them here. Losing all of that gold and the gold potential would probably set their economy back because of all the loss in minting. They're definitely getting well over 100, 200k from minting just from gold mines. I'm absolutely certain of it. Egypt's giving us 111k as a puppet, so maybe leaving them to exist as their own country was a great idea. I would have loved to make Qing a puppet. Just a map paint here. I did say we were going to do it, so really quickly, Confederation of the Rhine. Apparently, you can just go ahead and do that. So long as a North or South German nation is a great power, it can still be done. That is kind of the only check they have. So, there you go. A very bellicose, very defiant, great power that apparently is having revolt issues that needs us to help put it down. Anyway, that is going to do it for this episode and this series with the Ottoman Empire. It was very fun. I wasn't sure how far we'd get at first, but we got pretty far. I mean, we have Baku. Baku's oil is just delicious. Let me know what you think. I will see what we do next time. I'm not sure yet, but it was nice to be back and kind of sit through this and get through it. Maybe we do a different game for a bit, just because Victoria 3 is having a bit of instability issues, which is not entirely the game's fault. If you're using Windows 11 like I am, and you have some of the latest updates, kinda broke some of the CPU stuff for Windows and the games, which is what's kind of causing some of the performance problems. So it's kind of out of Paradox's hands. There's not much they can do about it, unfortunately, until Windows fixes their latest updates. We'll see if they will, and I will see you next time.